Back with the guys as we dissect some of what we expect to see. And Mac, this is hard to look away from the quarterback in Washington and hard to look away from the running back there in Philadelphia. When you just look at these two teams on paper, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Of course, when you look at the two previous matchups between the Commanders and the Eagles, they had no answer for Saquon Barkley. But join the club. No team has had an answer for Saquon Barkley. But what kind of game plan will they have in place? Because that's been the one Achilles heel for their defense, the inability to stop rushing attacks. And that has kind of followed Dan Quinn throughout his coaching career in terms of what we've seen over the last few years. Remember, as a defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, that was an issue. The same issues followed the Commanders, but they've been able to weather the storm to win ball games because they become a very, very opportunistic group. You look at what they did against the Detroit Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs had a field day, but what did they do? They forced turnovers. So can they force the necessary turnovers? Because we do believe Saquon Barkley being healthy, he is going to get his. But you have to find a way to create the necessary turnovers like they did in the divisional round against the Detroit Lions to give their star quarterback extra possession. So, Christian, Joe, that's what I'm watching because we know 2-6 is going to get the opportunities. We know 2-6 will get his yards. But can they create the necessary turnovers that we saw surface in Detroit?
Man, that's hard. They're going to be hard-pressed to get 5 turnovers and take advantage. And we just said their punter, he never punts. Yeah. They just keep scoring. I think it's interesting, the dynamics between offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, Jayden Daniels, the receivers, Dan Quinn. And they're going to have to kind of understand that, you know, we're going to have to push the envelope as much as possible. Not that you're living on borrowed time, but you're going to have to put points up on the board. And, of course, you got a young quarterback that is fearless and has not found himself in a position where he's nervous or he's scared. Have McLaurin right here, his big playability, and how many times with Eckler, all those guys, you know, putting points up on the board. So clean is the most important thing. I just looked at the weather for Philly because they will be hosting this game, and the NFC teams have the early game, so it's going to be a high of 40 and a low of 28.
That's great weather.
That's
perfect. It's a little, based on what they dealt with, you know, tonight, it should be fine.
Yeah. Well, I was going to talk about the matchup, the previous matchups, 150 and 146. Is what Saquon had against the Commanders. And you remember we highlighted...
He might sign for that right now. He's going 200 plus.
That's what I'm saying. Because
sign for 150.
You saw what he did in 2 matchups against the Rams. So that's a telling sign of what is going to happen. Not to mention, we don't know how healthy Jalen Hurts will be. So that might make the running game more of a vocal point for their offense. So if I'm the Commanders, to your point, Christian, we got to do whatever we need to do to stop the running game and make Jalen Hurts beat you with that play 60 arm.
Yeah. Even the 78-yard touchdown. He's kind of dancing around, and he finds an opening, then he goes. I think it was the safety, and I should have asked you this because it looked like a terrible angle, and that's what I would say. Like, guys, listen, don't be afraid to make contact with him from distance. You just have to hit him. Like, taking a bad angle because you're scared of the contact or the pain you may have is only going to hurt you, right? The pain is worse if you stop him.
See, the issue with Saquon Barkley, he is a running back that I wouldn't want to face because in open field, he has the power to run straight through you and run you over if you're flat-footed. He has the speed and quickness to run around you.
So am I too critical of the safety on that?
Yeah, that's a tough open field on that type of player. Because we try to shorten the grass. What that means is try to take that extra step to try to attack the far leg. But with Saquon, he has the moves, the wiggle, that you don't know exactly what he is going to do. It reminds me a lot of Fred Taylor. Anytime we had a crack replace situation with Fred Taylor, you're holding your breath and you're hoping you pick the right side because they have different elements into their running style that they can attack you with, and you don't know exactly what they're going to do.
We did also get a look prior to that play. There was some communication between Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. I don't know if he checked to something or said, let's stay with it. There was communication there, and Saquon Barkley, the cerebral nature that he sets up defenders with. It's going to be a tall task for Washington. I also like to keep an eye on these timelines. It was Washington on a short week a week ago playing that Saturday game. That does mean they get the extra day here coming into the NFC title game. You're going to need all the preparation you can get. And at some point, we've been waiting for the shoe to drop and say, he is a rookie. But I think we wholeheartedly believe in what Jayden Daniels is capable of in the biggest moments. When you look at him on this stage, what do you envision? He has risen to every occasion, Matt.
Yeah, 2025, he's not a rookie anymore. It's year 2, Jayden Daniels. But in terms of the experience, to your point, Joe, he sees the football field so well. And the thing I love, he has that coolness to his game where he's always calm. He never panics. And the thing also, he can always be a +1 in the running game. And if you look at the two matchups against Philadelphia, I mean, he made plays, especially that second matchup that kind of led to them getting to the playoffs. He was unstoppable. And also, the last thing I say with Jayden Daniels, he's the one quarterback, Christian, that you want to have the football in a score or go home scenario, because you know what he is going to do. He's shown us time and time again, if he has the ball in his possession in the last moments of a ball game and they need to score a point, he is going to do so. So this is a big issue for Philadelphia, because Matthew Stafford had a great day today in bad conditions. He was throwing the football around the yard. Yeah, they sacked him around 5 times, but he made the necessary plays. Jayden Daniels, right now, currently, he's a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford, because he has multiple elements to his game that you have to try to defend, and that can be an issue. Just ask the Detroit Lions. So this, and not having Nakobe Dean is the last thing I'll say, because he's the brains of the operation for Philadelphia. He's out, and you look at what he means in terms of the quarterbacking on the defensive side.
I look at it this way. This is going to be your 3rd time playing each other, right? Can the Philadelphia Eagles show Jayden Daniels something that he hasn't seen? And when they do show him something that is seen, do they call it at the right time when it's a matter of circumstance and then the game is really at a crucial point? Because I feel like he's pretty much seen everything. To your point, it's 2025. I mean, what is it, 17 regular season games, 2 playoff games? You're going to be hard-pressed to call a defense that he hasn't seen, that he can't adjust to. But you're going to have to figure something out, because if you have him surrounded and you have him corralled and he can't run, can he make those throws? Well, he's showing you that he can.
He can do it. He can do all of the above. And also, too, talking about can he run, we don't know what running Jalen Hurts will be able to do.
And you talked about making a hit count. He has that way of getting to the ground and staying safe. And
he's the most annoying quarterback, because you can't really hit him. Yeah. You want to hit him. You want to just, but he finds a way to get down, which is smart. You got to appreciate it.
We will see if it is a rookie quarterback starting on a Super Bowl Sunday. It is an NFC title game opportunity for Jayden Daniels here going into Philadelphia. Vegas, they see 4.5 between them. Eagles, the favorites here at an opening line. 49.5 is our total. Mac, you know I don't hold you to your picks a week out.
Early.
When you see the 4.5,
it's an early lean.
What flickers in your mind?
I'm taking the Commanders, because I don't know how mobile Jalen Hurts will be, right? I think when you look at what this offense can do, Philly, yeah, we rave about Saquon Barkley, but Jalen Hurts, when he's a +1 in the running game, they're really, really good. You look at how hobbled he was after rolling his knee. I don't know what his stance would be in terms of mobility in this game. I like the Commanders, because I believe their offense, like I said, they're going to score 30 points. So your offense has to be able to match what they're going to do. They don't punt. They score points because of their quarterback. So in an early lean for me, give me the Commanders, Christian.
See, I look at it more of okay, here's where the wheels really fall off for the Commanders, based on how fortunate they have been, the great situation they found themselves in, playing against a Detroit team, and Jared Goff, who just could not figure anything out, just throwing the ball into team meetings. It was like, good luck coming back from that. It's impossible. I think if you played them again, I think Detroit would actually, probably be on the other side of on the better side of the win.